Hey guys, this is Sports with Dylan. Two head coaches have been hired today, both from the Eagles. Shane Steichen, the Eagles' former offensive coordinator, has now become the Colts head coach, and Jonathan Gannon, the former Eagles defensive coordinator, has now become the Cardinals head coach. I decided I'd merge this all into one video because they're from the same place. They're going into similar situations, I would say. I'll get a bit more in depth in that. But it's a similar enough topic that instead of making two videos out of it, then I'm making one. Both of these two candidates were highly regarded in the searching process for a head coach. Jonathan Gannon just finished coaching one of the league's best defenses. Last year, he was in head coaching rumors when the Eagles' defense was mediocre. But this year, they went all in. This defense played amazing. Hassan Reddick was a contender for Defensive Player of the Year for a while. Darius Slay is arguably the best cornerback in the NFL. James Bradbury is arguably a top 5 cornerback in the NFL. CJ Gardner-Johnson went from third safety on the Saints to one of the best safeties in the NFL. You can see where I'm going here. This defense went crazy. Even though they didn't end up winning the Super Bowl, they were absolutely on fire. Shane Steichen was arguably even better. The Eagles' offense was amazing, although not quite as good as the Chiefs. More on that later. Jalen Hurts was the MVP runner-up after an amazing breakout season this year. A.J. Brown is a top 5 receiver easy in the NFL after this season. The offensive line continued to play amazing. Devonta Smith had some great catches. Dallas Goedert is still a solid tight end. This offense was absolutely amazing. The difference being Shane Steichen has been good for a couple of years now. Jalen Hurts was solid last year, that whole offense, and Devonta Smith was a very, very good rookie wide receiver. The offensive line was great, running backs were great, but then the year before, he was actually the Chargers offensive coordinator under Anthony Lynn, where he led Justin Herbert to the Offensive Rookie of the Year award. So Shane Steichen now for a couple of years has been a really good offensive coordinator. I remember seeing him as a potential head coaching candidate after he coached Justin Herbert to the Offensive Rookie of the Year award. And I remember looking at it a bit weird, because I didn't see him as a head coaching candidate at the time. And looking back on it, I still don't think he was that big of a candidate. But now he definitely deserves it. The one thing this means is that this is another year, a whole another year, that Eric Bieniemy has not been hired as an NFL head coach. It's outrageous. He has coached Patrick Mahomes to 2 MVP awards, 2 Super Bowls. This team has been great. It's not just Patrick Mahomes. Travis Kelce is by far the best tight end in the NFL despite being in his 30s. And Tyreek Hill, although he is no longer around, was amazing in that Chiefs offense. Eric Bieniemy has been my top candidate, aside from someone like Sean Payton, to become a head coach for probably 3-4 years now, and he still has not been hired. Now, his contract is expiring, and it's likely that he leaves the Chiefs and hopes to find a better opportunity to get a head coaching gig somewhere else as an offensive coordinator. But even still, why? He must interview terribly. There's got to be something behind the scenes we don't know about, because based on how much success the Chiefs have had under Bieniemy, he should totally be an NFL head coach. The Colts hiring Shane Steichen is quite interesting because they seem to be more of a defensive team. They have Stephon Gilmore, Kenny Moore in the secondary, and then they've got Yannick Ngakoue, who is a free agent, but they've also got DeForest Buckner and Shaquille Leonard, namely, on the defensive side. They have a solid defense. I always see them as a defensive team. That is what brings them wins. Obviously not this year, but in years prior. Meanwhile, the offense has always just kind of been there. It's not going to lose you games, except when Carson Wentz is the quarterback, obviously. Actually, I don't hate Carson Wentz, I'll be completely honest. But that is a long rant I could go on to for some other time. As of right now, the offense wasn't going to lose you a ton of games, but it's also not going to carry you. It's the defense that's actually winning the games. But now they hired a former offensive coordinator, someone who's proved to be very good with multiple quarterbacks now. So this means they are going to be drafting someone. We knew that already. They were looking to draft a quarterback in the first round. They might even trade up. They're aiming for C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young, the top 2 quarterback prospects. And they are hoping that Shane Steichen is able to develop whichever one of the 2 they draft into an absolute superstar, like he did to Justin Herbert at first, and like he's done to Jalen Hurts. That is their goal, is to develop the offense, someone that can help Jonathan Taylor get to his full potential, and someone that can help Michael Pittman become a star receiver. Someone that can help this offense all around. Obviously, the Colts hire was interesting, but the one I find more interesting is the Cardinals hire. Because they are clearly an offensive team. They have a young star quarterback in Kyler Murray. They have a star wide receiver who may or may not be traded in DeAndre Hopkins. They have a solid running back in James Conner. They have a couple other key pieces. But mainly Kyler Murray, a superstar quarterback. Wouldn't you want to help them? That was the reason they hired Cliff Kingsbury. They were hoping someone could help Kyler Murray become a superstar. And he coached Patrick Mahomes in college. I thought it was a terrible hire at the time. Still think it was a terrible hire, obviously. But they were aiming for someone offensive. The goal was right. But now they went defense. Which is weird, because they have no one on their defense that I'd go and say, okay, hey, fine, he's coaching him. Maybe Budda Baker, he's probably their best defensive player now. J.J. Watt's retired, everyone else kind of sucks. They're probably hoping, is what they're doing, is that someone can please help Zaven Collins and Isaiah Simmons become the stars they want them to be. Isaiah Simmons, namely, will be up for his 5th-year option this year, and at this point in time, I wouldn't take it. I like his versatility, but what has he really done to truly impress you? At the same time, in my opinion, it's always wise to take the 5th-year option because then you just have the person under contract for another year. So if they do break out, then you still got them. The Falcons running into issues now with Caleb McGarrett because they let go of his 5th-year option, so now he's going to be a free agent, but he had a massive breakout year. So now the Falcons are going to go and have to rush to re-sign him. So if I were the Cardinals, I would pick up the 5th-year option on Isaiah Simmons. But even still, someone needs to get this guy to break out. He has not been what his college potential was. He hasn't been anywhere near that. So they're probably hoping that Jonathan Gannon can be the one. But at the same time, I haven't seen Jonathan Gannon develop anyone young. Darius Slay, James Bradbury are the 2 cornerbacks I mentioned. Both of them are older. Then you've got Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham. Both of them are older. Hassan Reddick's been around for a while. Robert Quinn's older, and he just sucked in Philadelphia. Duncan Sue is older and didn't do that much in Philadelphia either. He just signed to be a backup. Jordan Davis never really had a breakout season, but I'll give him credit for having quite a few players in front of him and the fact that he was injured for part of the season. But Derek Barnett, he was also injured. But last year, what did Derek Barnett do? He's young. He could break out, but he hasn't. So that concerns me a bit. If I am the Cardinals, I wouldn't aim to hire Jonathan Gannon first because he hasn't proven to develop young guys. Sure, he's proven that if they're proven, he can make them be great together. But can he actually develop a young defensive phenom? I don't know. No one knows the answer to this. The Cardinals are hoping so, clearly. But if I were the Cardinals, I would aim for someone offensive. Here's a hint. His name starts with a B, ends with a Y. Yes, it's Eric Bieniemy. We need Eric Bieniemy as a head coach. But if not Bieniemy, what about Brian Callahan, the Bengals offensive coordinator? He has been a star. Or fine, if you're going to go defense, go Leslie Frazier, the Bills' defensive coordinator. They have been great. He has developed rookies, Gregory Rousseau, AJ Epineza. He has developed Carlos Basham. Matt Milano is getting up there in age, but when Leslie Frazier first joined the team, he was significantly younger. Tremaine Edmonds. I can name Bills defensive players for a year. Ed Oliver. Again, like I said, this can go on for years. Tre'Davious White. Kyler Lamb still breaking out. But my point being, because I've got to stop naming Bills defensive players, he has proven he can develop defensive stars. But I am not sure if Jonathan Gannon will do that. But we'll have to see. For now, I still quite like these hires. I think both these candidates were great guys. They're young. They're going to energize these teams. So I wish them luck. Thanks for watching.